India's biggest growth story is still the narrative of global expectations for next year. However, the clamour has eased somewhat in recent months. Now, clearly, the risks to economic growth have risen, with consumer and government spending being the biggest catalyst for the momentum loss. Already tight household wallets have taken a hit from the surge in prices of everything. Take a look at this next report to understand if bad news will outweigh good news for the Indian economy in 2025.
India's long-term growth trajectory is still seen intact. With an expected 6.5% growth rate over the next 6 years, the country is poised to maintain its position as the world's fastest-growing major economy. However, the country saw a significant decline in economic activity this year. India's economic outlook for 2025-2026 shows modest growth, with GDP predictions ranging from 6.4 to 6.6%. That is significantly down from the above 7% projections from earlier. In comparison, when South Korea, Japan and China were experiencing tremendous growth, they maintained growth rates of about 8%. The major concern is whether a growth rate of about 6.5% will be sufficient for a nation that needs to create almost 8 million jobs yearly until 2030. Additionally, it is unclear if this growth rate will be sufficient to address widening wealth gaps and provide opportunities for mobility across generations. But there are clear positives for the economy. The International Monetary Fund still projects India to be the lone bright star in an otherwise gloomy global backdrop. Spending on government programs is already seeing an increase after the election. Banks' cash reserves with the Reserve Bank of India have been reduced, allowing them more freedom with their money. The central bank is expected to switch to an easing policy soon to bolster the country's growth story. With the state election calendar relatively empty, there's an opportunity for changes in 2025. According to Goldman Sachs research, India's economy will be able to weather global shocks such as tariffs imposed by Trump's government. Analysts at the investment firm predict that India's GDP will continue to expand at a robust rate in the long run. Santanu Sengupta, chief India economist at Goldman Sachs Research, noted the structural long-term growth story for India remains intact, driven by favorable demographics and stable governance. However, the bank's analysts predict that 2025 will be a slowdown bit due to slowing government spending and a loss in credit growth momentum. One of the most pressing issues is inflation and its effect on demand and consumption. In its December bulletin, the RBI mentioned that manufacturing activity across sectors, petroleum products, iron, steel and cement, was restrained. The central bank reported that mining activity contracted and reduced power consumption. Global variables such as changes in tariffs and commodity pricing, as well as weather unpredictability and agricultural production, add further uncertainty. The greatest threat to growth predictions is still interruptions to food supply caused by weather. Devendra Kumar Pant, chief economist at India Ratings and Research, said inflation remains a significant concern, with its impact on consumption and urban demand highlighted as a critical challenge. He emphasized that overall demand will remain subdued unless inflation stabilizes around 4 to 4.5%. The RBI has kept policy rates unchanged for the 11th consecutive meeting. That is because of the high and unpredictable food inflation, which is mostly caused by weather-related price shocks in vegetables. However, with demand slowing, price pressures are expected to come down to the RBI's target range. To counter the slowdown in demand, India is likely to boost consumption through personal income tax, as reported by Reuters, quoting government sources. However, that decision is likely to be taken only closer to the budget on February 1st, 2025. Will the middle class get any respite? Remains to be seen. For now, the risks seem to outweigh the positives for India's growth story.